Utopia just might be the perfect rogue option for your next meta deck. This deck can do it all. It can draw 5, it can draw a million, it has a searchable Omni Negate, and can summon broken rank 4s like Abyss Dweller. If you're concerned about the fire decks, branded, voiceless voice, it's as easy as summoning an Abyss Dweller or any other broken rank 4. And so I feel like Utopia has the perfect package to win a duel at. If you want to summon and set up a whole board of negations, this is the deck for you, as well as drawing 5 hand traps, how many hand traps you want. I'm also going to show you guys a 2-card combo of what you can expect for the standard bread and butter Utopia combo, ending on 5+ disruptions using the new Armored Exceed cards from Age of Overlord. So stick around, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the video. Alright guys, let's move on to the deck profile for Utopia. So to start off with, we're going to be running 3 of the Utopic Onomatopoeia. This card is your starter card, kind of needs the rest of them to work actually, similar to how a lot of Exceed decks are. We've got 1 glove, which is quite interesting, I must say. 1 Ascended Sage and 3 Astrotopia. Astrotopia is probably my favorite Utopia card. Really cool pop-off ability to just search anything in the game, basically, is what it feels like. Pegasus Twin Saber. We've got Astro Kuribo as well, which is just a nice extender to turn into any rank you need, which, I mean, this deck is level 4, but yeah, you can reveal a rank 4 from your extra deck and then turn into that, and then the number monster you summon come into trouble by battle or card effects. In this deck, you're always overlaying on top of things, so that effect is, you could say, is actually quite useless. You know, the boring hand traps we have to run: 3 Nibiru, 3 Drone Lockbird, and 3 Effect Veiler. Something that's interesting is we're running 1 glove. So the reason I'm running 1 glove is this is a brick, and you never want to see glove. You kind of want to dump it, or you could also just discard it with Onomatopoeia, with Astrotopia, because when a Utopic Onomatopoeia is on the field, again, he counters all the names. You can special it from the graveyard, and then you can special a Zubaba or Gagaga monster from the hand. So, but because of Onomatopoeia, because of the field spell we're running as well, I want that diversity in the Onomat style cards. Ko is my favorite one after your Onomatopoeia, because if you control him, you can special him from the hand, and then you can bring back Onomatopoeia from the graveyard. So it is gonna take some time to get used to if you've never played Utopia. I feel like once you learn the deck, these 3 monsters work together really well, and I think managing those guys is what is going to make you successful with this deck. We're not running the other ZS monster because we're not going to search ZWs. I think that's a very casual style in my opinion, where ZS is all we need to search the hyper rank up spell. Utopic Sage can specially from deck, and that's all you need to know. In the adventure version, I'm pretty sure I ran more than 1 copy of this card, but ultimately you want to just see it when you special it from Utopic Sage, which goes into the Exceed armor line. So very important why it's at 1. The next card, Astrotopia, broken card, can search a Omni Negate, which has recursion and can say itself. It can search the draw 5, draw a million spell card, Xyz Change Tactics. And in this deck, you want your life points to be lower than the opponents. I think you can run an Upstart Goblin in this deck, and Upstart at 3 is something you definitely should try. It's a lot of fun. I'm not running it in this version, but I highly recommend it. Pegasus Saber is your monster negation, which works in a very wrong way, let's call it, because you actually, you know, for example, in the game, you would allow the opponent to resolve their effect. It's kind of like Angel Ring, except it will still ask you, do you want to negate a monster effect on the field, unfortunately. So no anti-Nibiru and the hand trap. So because of the meta at the moment, I don't think Adventure is a good engine. It's been power creep, which is crazy to say, but you know, you can just run Cross Out, which is a trendy card at the moment, to beat Nibiru if you're really concerned, and that means maybe changing the ratios of your hand traps. But in my opinion, I think this is a great way to build a deck as far as the monster lineup. We don't play Ash because they can steal it and make Fire Princess, and because we're only running 1 Ascended Sage, it won't conflict with Nibiru as much, so we're happy to run 3 Nibiru. Let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Have you tried other Onomat style monsters? I know there's so many of them. Have you tried the Sakitama engine? Have you tried Goblin in Utopia, which definitely works, by the way? That definitely works. Have you tried more cards to benefit from the Exceed armor engine? But let's move on to the spells, guys, and I'll show you what's going on over there. Alright guys, for the spells, let's start off with the strangest card in the game, Double or Nothing, which is unfortunately a brick. We're running 2 Overlay Network. When you have a level 4 monster on the field, any level monster, you can special that same level from the hand or graveyard. It's negated. It's your classic Exceed extender we would have loved to see, especially back in the days when Xyz was popping. I decided to run it. I want to run the new cards and see how they feel. I really like this card. People don't expect it as well. And the other effect, which is actually quite interesting, you can add an attached material from an Xyz monster back to the hand or extra deck. So you can also add, you know, your crazy level 4s like Astral Utopia back to the hand. You can recycle Xyz monsters, which is actually really important as well. Let's say you have the double or nothing combo with Utopia, get that Utopia back in the extra deck, and then you have that combo for next turn. Hyper Magic, Utopia Force, which is searched with Ascended Sage, which can obviously bring you into Dragonar. Dragonar sets you up with 2 broken number Xyz summons, just 2 Xyz Change Tactics, which we plan to search anyway. Took it down to 2 from 3 because I want to run hand traps and make it a little bit more competitive. And this is the card no one really seems to run, but I love this card. Every time you summon a Utopia monster, you know, special summon Xyz summon, gain a counter. Every monster gain 200 attack for each counter. But the coolest part is you can remove 2 counters and cheat out any of the Onomat cards. So that 2.5 card combo, if you happen to find the field spell, is just went from crazy to 100 because you now get to add a Draco Future on top. And stick around for the combo, which I'll put at the end of the video. I'll show you guys the new 2.5 card combo with Utopia. Next up is Onomata Pickup. We're running at 3, of course. And then for the next bit, we're running 3 Onomata Pyra. So Onomata Pyra can discard a card to search for 2 of the Onomat style cards. Full Armored Xyz again for the combo. Banish it to attach a Xyz monster to Dark Ray Lancer. When he's equipped, we'll steal a monster as material, which I'm going to say might be the best removal in the game after the Subversion Snake Eye spell and perhaps Banish face down. They want to make sure that gets triggered. And then some boring non-engine talents, Call by the Grave, and we have Numbers Protection to round it off. The Omni Negate, which I feel like if a deck can search an Omni Negate, you're like 1 step closer to a viable rogue deck, which I think this deck definitely is. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. To actually compete, you need hand traps. You're not seeing Cross Out, but you can easily run Cross Out. I think you can easily take out Overlay Network. You can probably take out the Armored Package if you don't like it. You could take out the Field Spell, which, you know, is a win more card, to be honest, if you don't want to extend into an Abyss Dweller to really complete the board. You could also run this deck at 43, 44, 45, 47, just because you draw so many cards. And there are unfortunately some one-off searches you don't want to find, like Double or Nothing, like the Pegasus as well, which is awkward if you don't have 2,000 or less life points than your opponent. Let's move on to the extra deck, guys. This is going to be a very exciting part. We've got some new additions as well. All right, guys, for the extra deck lineup, we're of course playing Utopia, the main man, the OG. C39 Utopia, which is just the extension from Utopia to draw an extra card, but also get the right materials for Dragonar to do 2 effects. Everyone says you could also put in Utopia Prime. Yes, you can, that's fine, but it's very trivial. It doesn't even matter, to be honest. Next up is Utopia Double. Of course, detach a material, add Double or Nothing, and then rank up into any of the Utopia monsters. This can be ashed, which I hate, but, you know, in a weird way, I've OTK'd with this deck so many times because it's just that easy to use Double or Nothing and OTK against those tier 1 decks. So I'm also glad it can search it. Utopic Sage, one of my favorite, maybe top 3 favorite Utopia cards. This card's art is amazing. Can special the Ascended Sage. If a Utopic or Utopia Xyz monster whose original attribute is Light is about to be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish this from grave and protect it. If you're not gonna go for the Draco feature line, you have this engraved too for protection, which people are running. I mean, 5 Princess will try and get rid of your Utopia monsters, and you can protect it with ZS Utopic Sage. Gagaga Magician, which you summon to special the ZS after you've detached it from the Xyz Armor Fortress and make Draco Future. Utopia Rising, yeah, we're playing Utopia Rising. I think this card is actually really good, but I don't think it's something you have to run. I'm not running Zeus, guys, just making you aware now. I've got Typhon instead of Zeus. But I think you should really run Zeus. I just don't have the card at the moment right now. And then C39 Leo Utopia Ray, Ultimate Utopia Rays, only has the negation when it's equipped, which is super unfortunate. But in the combo, you are going to equip anyway, so that's fine. You do get to equip it straight from the deck, so there we go. And it gets an attack boost, so it's 3,500, which is quite strong. And then we have the Utopic Dragonar as well. This card can special, or rather exceed summon number monsters from the extra deck. And if you combine that with the Astral Field spell, you can actually set up really crazy skill drain like effect negation combos with certain Xyz monsters and Chaos Xyz monsters. We've got Utopic Draco Future, we've got Utopic Future. This is such a broken boss monster, especially in this meta game right now, because you can obviously steal things and then they can't use that link material and come show up battle card effects, which is quite nice. Hope Harbinger, which is special with Dragonar, and Harbinger is just a staple in Utopia in my opinion. We've got Abyss Dweller as well to, I guess, check all of the fire decks, all the graveyard decks which are running rampant. If you summon Abyss Dweller, chances are you might just win that duel, because Flamberge won't trigger, Poplar won't trigger, Engrave, Wanted won't trigger. So I feel like you might even just want to rush into summoning Abyss Dweller after you've done a certain part of the Utopia combo. And then for the rest of the extra deck, we've got the Xyz Armor package. So Dark Lancer is amazing. a new addition to the deck we definitely enjoy using. And then Super Star Slayer Typhon. Again, I think Zeus should be here and should replace Utopia Rising. I don't think this card is going to be needed as much. I'm still trying to find uses for it, so if you find any uses for it, let me know in the comments down below what you think that is. Let's move on to the combo portion of the video. I'm going to show you guys what you can do, what you can accomplish with 2.5 cards. One card is for the discard. I feel like Utopia has a new breath of fresh air because of the Exceed Armor card. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys a 2.5 card combo that you can do with Utopia. We know we're not going to be a tier 1 deck, so I think 2.5 is acceptable. Also, 0.5 is just the discard for Honor Matter Pyra. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is activate Honor Matter Pickup. That's going to allow us to search for a Honor Matter card. So we'll search Honor Matter Pyra with that. Next, we're going to use this card. We're going to discard the random card, for example, as cost. I'm going to search for 2 monsters. These are the 2 best cards you want to search, which is Colt and the Honor Matter PR. So he counts as all of the Honor Mat style cards. Glove is, in my opinion, the 3rd next best one. I've also been taking in one Gagaga Child, the level 2 that is a free special summon. When specialed, will copy the level of another Honor Mat card. So I think that's a decent card if you want to add it. But let's go ahead and normal summon the Honor Matter PR. Something I like to do, guys, is you can threaten an Imperm or Veiler with this card. So you can activate the effect, they're going to read it, they're going to be like, oh crap, he's about to do a crazy Exceed summon, so they'll Veiler or Imperm it. But we don't even care about it, because this card reads when a Honor Mat style card is on the field, it can special. It's not an inherent summon, so it will trigger an effect, but that's fine. We're going to special it. We're going to detach 2 materials from this card, and we're going to special summon the ZS Utopic Sage, or sorry, Ascended Sage, the new addition to the combo, and why I decided to update my Utopia profile after so long. I was really happy with the old version, but with these new cards, it's a lot more fun, a lot more explosive, and that end board is even more tricky to deal with. So the next thing we're going to do is actually overlay over Utopic Sage for the new card coming out, well, that has came out in Age of Overlord, which is Exceed Armor Fortress. This is the Exceed Armor package, which is actually quite budget friendly as well, so you'll love to see it. Detach a material and search for a Armor Exceed card, which is full Armored Exceed. So this is quite clutch because you're actually thinning your deck as well, and it can be used on top of a rank 4 Exceed monster. So perfect. And it can't be Exceed summoned. Next up though, what we're going to do is special summon Astrotopia as we control an Exceed monster on the field. Now this part is quite interesting. You can actually send this as cost, or you can just keep this on the field and do the Exceed summon with Exceed Armor Fortress on the opponent's turn into the full armor monster. But I like to just, you know, get it out of the way, so I'm going to send this just in case things get a little bit awkward and you lose one of your monsters. I'm going to send this as cost and search for an Exceed card, which is Xyz Change Tactics. Now we're getting to the next stage, which is when we draw just infinite cards. So I'm going to Exceed summon these 2 for the, you know, most important card of the deck in my opinion, which is Utopia Double. On summon we get to also draw a card, where we also going to search the Hyper Rank Up spell. So Chainlink 1 is going to be draw a card, Chainlink 2 will search the Rank Up spell, but we'll do it in a different order. So I'm going to keep the cards unknown for you guys, but make sure we activate Xyz Change Tactics, don't forget that. And like, that's crazy guys, we can draw hand traps. Is why again I took out the adventure engine for hand traps, because against Viking, if you do end up playing against it, you want to have the hand traps instead. But also Nibiru, Droll, and, you know, Ash, Imp, Veiler, whatever you want, they're all good options in this format. Activate Utopia Double's effect. We're going to detach a material, and we're going to, well, search Double or Nothing as part of the effect. And then we get to rank up into our favorite monster, which is Utopia. Because that is a Utopia monster, that counts as a Utopia summon. We're going to pay 500 and draw another card. For the purpose of this video, I'm actually going to keep the draw cards we use unknown. So far it's looking pretty good. We're just going to go ahead and slap on the next Utopia monster, which is Utopia Ray. We're going to draw another card because that's just crazy. And then next up we're going to do is activate the Hyper Rank Up Force on the Utopia Ray. That's going to give us the Dragonar, which is a busted card. I've heard this card could actually be teched into non-Utopia decks because of how generic it is, and, you know, you can spam number monsters. This counts as the Utopia monster. You'll have to see it. So we're going to draw a card as well, and then we're going to activate its effect. I don't even think it matters what you detach, but to keep it safe, I'm going to detach the original Utopia and Utopia Ray. That's going to allow us to Exceed summon the C39 Utopia or Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray. And this is basically the boss monster for the Utopia archetype, in my opinion. There's a lot more other things, but this is the most hashed out, the most modernized, let's say, Utopia monster they've got. And the Chainlink 1 is to draw a card, Chain 2 is to attach the rank up spell, because he summoned a rank 9 or low monster, I believe, using Dragonar. And then from here we're going to detach a material, and then we're going to equip the Pegasus monster. Now if you hard draw Pegasus, it's actually not that big of a deal, and is why Xyz Change Tactics is super important, because once your life points are 2k or less than your opponent, you can just special the Pegasus and then equip it. So I feel like that's pretty good. another reason why I think Upstart is a nice tech into this deck. So with the Dash material, we're going to equip the Pegasus. Before we do end the combo, let's make sure we Xyz summon for the Dark Lancer, and then with Utopia Dragonar's effect, we're going to summon the Hope Harbinger. And you know what, guys, we don't even have to attach the rank up spell. I'm going to do it anyway, just in case, you know, we can redirect more and more attacks. And there we go, guys. That is an example of our end board. On the opponent's turn, the second they summon something we know is going to lead up to something else. Maybe we've exhausted our effect negation, attack reduction with Leo Utopia Ray, our negation with Pegasus Twin Saber, our spell negate with Hope Harbinger, and of course the attack reduction from Dragonar in the battle phase. We can go ahead and banish the trap card, Full Armored Exceed. We can equip a monster to our Dark Ray Lancer. Doesn't really matter what you equip, but the point is, once he's been equipped by an Exceed monster, or he's been equipped in general, he can steal something as material, and he gains 200 attack for each material. So there we go, guys. That is a pretty nasty end board for 2.5 card combo. If you had another extension, then you can summon Gagaga Magician into Draco Future. Literally just off one more level 4 monster. These are the cards we drew off of our Xyz Change Tactics. Now, when I was doing a test hand just before this video, I kid you not, I drew this very similar hand. It was, I think, Nibiru, Drawn Lockbird, Numbers Protection actually, and the important card, which is the field spell for the Onomat cards, which can chi out any of the Onomat cards from the deck, and that set up our Gagaga Magician into Draco Future. This board plus Draco Future is your max board, but I want to show you guys a classic 2.5 card combo. This new addition is honestly amazing. This card is great, it's super, it's got a lot of recursion, it will stay on the field and do a lot of damage. Depending on what you equip, how far you go with the Exceed Armor cards, you can do a lot more things. And of course we have cards like Overlay Network, which gives us an extender. This is actually the extender I was talking about as well, which can special a level 4 monster from the hand or graveyard. I love this card in Kashtira Utopia because it can do the same thing with level 7s. That has been my deck profile and combo for Utopia. Will you be trying Utopia out? This combo can be done in Master Duel as well. You can simply substitute cards that are missing. And of course, you know, for things like Droll Nibiru, which does hurt this deck, we have Cross-Out Designator and again as another option, which, you know, if you have, I definitely recommend running. And that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.